Hi, and welcome back to another episode of ADK Talks. I'm your host, Jane, along with my brother, Steve. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
And today we're excited to welcome back Billy Trudsoe of Lizzie Keays in Warrensburg. And we're super excited about this episode because Billy's going to give us sort of a behind-the-scenes look at an Adirondack restaurant. We've kind of nicknamed this episode Kitchen Confidential, Adirondack Edition. If you're familiar with Anthony Bourdain's famous book that really exposed what actually happens behind the swinging doors in the kitchen. And Billy's going to give us some great tips on how to have a great experience in a restaurant and what's unique about running a restaurant in the Adirondacks. And he's also going to share what's new with him and what's happening at Lizzie Keays, and also tell us about some of his recent travels. So, Billy, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you guys so much for having me again. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the 518 and the ADK, whichever it is when you're listening in.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, we Stephen and I mention this kind of frequently, but we have a lot of listeners in Frankfurt, Germany for some reason. So we're truly an international podcast.
I want to give a shout out to Germany. I've been to Berlin and Munich and Cologne, and it's a beautiful country. I got roots there. So
awesome.
Hey, guys in Germany.
Listener, Billy has been cooking since he was 13. And as we shared last time, he's worked at a number of prominent restaurants here in the Lake George area, as well as in Florida and across the country. And he's also, as he just shared with us, a big traveler. So we're going to dive into that and talk about how his passion for travel has given him a unique global perspective. And he's brought that home to Lizzie Keays. But as we said at the start, this isn't about the menu and specifically that restaurant. Billy is going to talk to us about the industry in general, too. So let's dive into it. Let's start first, though, right here at home. Lizzie Keays has now been open 2 years, Billy, is that correct?
Yeah, we're coming up on our third summer, so it's exciting. Right here in Warrensburg, New York, the gateway to the Adirondacks.
What's new and different at Lizzie Keays that we should know about?
Well, I think the last time that we spoke, I didn't know if I've updated you guys on, we had a nice remodel last winter where we updated one of our dining rooms, which is now the Rhino Room. Hence the nickname from my sous chef, Jason Santos from Hell's Kitchen. So he called me the Rhino. So, we named it the Rhino Room, which is amazing. I've added some of my travels into the menu. It's influenced a lot from my travels. And, we're just here trying to survive this winter that's been brutal.
When you say that, is it just the weather? Because it's been so cold up here. How's business, though?
Yeah, business has been slow, a lot slower than anticipated. But, we're staying optimistic and positive. We'll have nights where, unfortunately, we'll do 8 to 10 people. We can't survive on that. So, we're going to ride out this coming weekend. We got, President's Weekend, Valentine's Day coming up, and we're excited. We got great numbers. We're basically almost sold out on Saturday for Valentine's Day. And probably, get through this weekend, next weekend, and then see where we're at. Because, if we go down, the reservations aren't there, we may be closing a little premature.
You usually take a break in the spring, though, sort of in that shoulder season between the winter and summer.
Yeah, absolutely. We, I'm actually traveling to Bali, Indonesia in the end of March and April. I'm going to go check out some chefs over there that I've been communicating with and hoping to collaborate with and learn some of their cuisine, which will be my third trip to Bali. So I'm already familiar with some of their cuisine, of course. Yeah, so I'm excited for that, and what a beautiful place to be in April.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. When you travel, and as you just mentioned, Europe, Asia, you've traveled extensively. What do you pay attention to when you eat in other countries that most people might miss?
I'm always interested in trying things that are similar or familiar to the States, but done in their style. So it's always cool to try different things. How are they doing their shrimp? How are they doing their chicken? Like, what's so special about it? Why is that flavor so intense and goes above and beyond? So, and I pay attention to the service too when I'm, eating out, which is cool, because they don't tip in Asia. So, when I duke someone when I'm over there and, give them, $10 or $20, they're just blown out of the water. They're over the moon. And, I think it's important to be able to take care of the people that are there that are just, that's how they survive, and, the cost of living is so cheap down there. The US dollar goes very far.
Where were you this past fall? You were back in Asia again?
Yeah, I was in Bali and it was absolutely gorgeous in November. It was not so, I mean, the low was probably like 78, high 95, not so much rain. And, I got to hit up some markets, which were cool, different kind of markets, and shop with, local fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and check out, the rice fields and how they produce. I mean, it's just insane the labor that goes on and how minuscule the pay they get for this. It's just, it's crazy.
I know. Is there something that you brought home, maybe not literally, but maybe a technique or a dish or a flavor profile that maybe not necessarily change the way you cook, but added to your repertoire?
Yeah, I brought back some spices from Bali and some of their hot sauce, and I put on this winter. It's called the Bali stir fry, and so it's shrimp and chicken satays with the Bali rice, and I kind of added my own little twist to it, and people been blown out of the water from it. They've like, I've never tasted flavors like that. And we put that it's spicy on there. So, I mean, we can lower the spice. We can't take it all away, but we can absolutely lower the spice. And, what was it? Monday night, I had a 4-top come in and 3 of them got it. And they were, I chatted with them and they were like, this is insane, man. And I'm like, yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to, have different flavors, different cultures of food on the menu, and of course keep some of our staples.
We haven't been in since last fall, so that now I'm getting hungry. So I've got to try that next time I come. Talking about the service, is there something that people here in the Adirondacks could appreciate or experience about the customs in Bali or other places, like the pacing, the sharing style, the late night markets and late night eating? What do you think we could learn or incorporate into our habits here?
Well, I mean, I think that the thing of it is that, Americans are very fortunate. Sometimes these people, in not only Bali, but all around the world, I mean, they get a plate of rice for the day, that's all they eat or whatnot. So, I mean, I think that, we have a really, really good here in the States. And, I think everyone should be appreciative for what they have and just, not worry about what they don't have, with all this social media and everything like that and all these influencers and, everyone's trying to show off. And, that's not really me. I just, I put my head down and I work.
How does that translate into the dining room? Let's talk a little bit, not to scold people, but what do you think diners could do to make everyone have a better night? For example, when a restaurant is slammed, what are 3 things you can do as a customer that will A, make your experience better, and B, maybe help the kitchen out a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, of course, in the shoulder season, when it's slower, we're running on a skeleton crew. I mean, we're literally trying, like, our restaurants up here, we're trying to break even. We're not going to turn a profit in the winter. Like, we're trying to stay alive. So just, when customers come in to eat, just remember that. And remember that we have a lot of overhead that people just like, oh, well, they paid for this. No, there's tons of overhead, and even paying people, it's really expensive, and it adds up after a while. So one thing that, customers can do is obviously be patient, because I run with one guy, if we're going to do 15, 20 covers in the front of the house. So just be patient. And if you want something, just let the server know, like all at once. You want a side of mayo, you want a side of ketchup. Don't let the server just be like, bring you your side of ketchup and then be like, oh, can I get a side of mayo? Like, and just kind of like run the server around. So be attentive on what you want, so that's always a good thing. And just sit back, relax, enjoy. Dinner's not about being rushed or, trying to run out, especially here at Lizzie's. So we want you to have a great experience. And that's why I still have like the old school dining experience where you get the dinner bread that comes with your meal. We give you a palate cleanser, that comes with your meal. And a lot of people maybe not know that about Lizzie's, but you come to the bar, I give you some of my beetroot nuts. I love that, and that's just gone because, restaurants are trying to make profit. They're trying to make money. And of course I am too, but I still respect the old school dining.
I think one thing that I appreciate from traveling too is in other cultures, they linger over meals. Like it's not rushed. Like in Italy, you have to ask for the check. They will not just bring you the check to get you out of the restaurant. You can stay there forever. I wish people here would just sort of appreciate that. Like we're all busy, right? Especially at a lunchtime, when you're trying to maybe do some business over lunch and then get back to the office. But at dinner, this is a time for you to enjoy the meal and appreciate it and the people that you're dining with.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too, is like when you're thinking about dining out for lunch or dinner, like everyone's in a rush. Everyone likes the convenience. And that's what's hurting the small businesses like myself and local pubs, other restaurants. It's because people want to go to Mickey D's, they want to go to Wendy's, they want to go to KFC. Come see us and spend $5 more, and keep the local businesses thriving. And I've actually been implementing that the start of this year where, I'm in a hurry, I'm running around, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I stop at Burger King. So I'm definitely not doing that anymore. I'm trying to find local places, family owned restaurants that I can go get a bite, be patient, and hopefully enjoy what they have to offer.
Well, speaking of that, any tips for us? Any local favorites you want to give a shout out to?
I mean, I have a couple of places that I really love. And I was just there actually last week for Battle of the Billies a couple weeks ago. It's just a one-on-one eating contest I got going on with Billy Floyd, the local hype guy for the Thunder and a social media content creator. But, the place is Chicken Parm in Loon Lake in Chestertown, New York, is out of this world. It's one of my favorite meals of all time. And, I'm a big, big fan. I've been going, there for a long time. And I'm also a big fan, which another restaurant that I've been going to since I was a kid was The Harvest in Queensbury. And I know they're under new ownership or whatnot, but they haven't changed anything. And The Harvest Best is my all-time favorite pizza. So when I'm traveling, I get back home. Even when I was living in Florida, I come back home. I got a Harvest Best and a chicken parm, and I'm happy.
I just, I think you mentioned the Harvest last time you were on, and I had a chance to have lunch there the other day, and it was really good. And I think that's interesting too. Like we talked about how tough the business is up here in the Adirondacks, and it really is. It's a hard life. But it's also great to see institutions like The Place. We've been going there since I was a kid.
It's the first restaurant we ate at up here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's owner operated, so that's really nice. And it's kind of nice. I feel good. Like you said before, I really try and make an effort to keep my money in the Adirondacks, so even if that means paying a couple cents more for a gallon of gas, I would rather do that at Stewart's or at a local place than, some, I don't want to name names, but
semi-truck stop in Glens Falls.
Exactly. Is there a local ingredient you think more home cooks should use?
Yeah, I mean, of course, they should be using my beetroot sauce, like I mean, come in and get a bottle. I mean, it's out of this world. It's my Asian buffalo barbecue. It's, the first thing I had on the menu was the beetroot wings at the Algonquin when I was a young chef, probably 2003 or 4, somewhere around there. And I'm working on developing other spices and stuff like that I can sell to the locals and, even the tourists, of course. And yeah, I mean, why not? Why not buy Beetru's Mad Flavor?
That's awesome. Are there other producers that impress you? Maybe a farm or, I don't know, maple syrup or a baker?
Well, the bakers, like the baking, like I haven't really been ever since, what was that place, across from Walmart, kind of, that bakery there. Ever since it closed, I haven't been really, what was the name of that? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing is like there's some good bakeries like in Queensbury, Glens Falls, but I haven't been able to collaborate with them. I just kind of, in the winter season or whatnot, it's kind of just, it's survival of the fittest, really. So, for me to be able to get fresh bread every day or whatever, it's impossible. I just don't have the demand for it.
I think that is something that's missing up here. What about, is there a vendor that you use, maybe somebody, cheesemaker or smokehouse or a place like that you think adds a little something special to your menu?
I mean, not really. I do import a lot of European foods or whatnot. Unfortunately, I don't really do as much local as I should, which, I'm going to try to implement more in the spring as, I'm learning as a business owner, which, you learn every day on what you need to do and how to survive and how to cross promote. So, we're working on that. And that's the thing is like, I don't mind paying a little extra, but in the winter, it's just super tough, like I said, it's just, when we're not doing 20 to 30 people a night, I mean, it's super disappointing, to tell you the truth, for such a great product that we have being, a couple minutes off the Northway. I'm not here begging for customers or whatnot, but everyone should always, definitely, if they're looking to get a great meal, consider coming to Lizzie Keays and not looking at us as, super fine dining, which I don't think we are. I think we're upscale casual with a great product, great portion sizes, and we got a great staff that I'm trying to keep fed, and, I want to retain these guys. Like a lot of them have been with me since the start of Basil's when I opened up Basil and Wicks in North Creek, and it hurts me that these guys aren't making money. They're making money, but they're not making what I would want them to make.
Yeah, I think it's also the economy too right now. Like everyone's feeling the pinch. And if you're looking at your grocery bill and you're unhappy about the price of milk or eggs or butter, the chef and restaurant owners are experiencing the exact same thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do get wholesale, but I mean, our prices, they're not that much cheaper, because some things, I'm just like, well, I'll go to the store and get it because it's like, I'm not going to get a whole case of this, because it's like, and then you're really not saving. So, it's always challenging, especially in the wintertime. But like I said, I'm optimistic for the spring and the summer. We're coming up on our third summer. And, like I said, people are learning about us. It is our first winter open. So, I'm not going to be like, oh, pity patty on myself. I'm always doing promos. I'm always trying to get people through the door. I'm always trying to give you a good deal and give you a great product. So, it's always crazy.
I follow you on Facebook, and let our listeners know what your handle is on Facebook, how they can find your Facebook profile.
Yeah, it's Beetru's Mad Flavor. It's BTRUESMADFLAVA. You can also hit me up, Billy Trudsoe, TRUDSOE. And then Instagram, of course, one of the greatest handles of all time, ADK Chef.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then, of course, I got Beetru's Mad Flavor on there. And then don't forget to follow Lizzie Keays on Instagram, Facebook. And then I've been doing a little bit of TikTok. So that's Beetru's Mad Flavor as well.
You've done some collaborations with some restaurants. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to be able to collaborate with, local restaurants and local chefs or whatnot. So most recently, I've been doing, I'm collaborating with Billy Floyd. So he was doing some eating challenges or whatnot. And then when I was in Bali, I was like, why don't we just go one-on-one at local restaurants. He gets the same dish, I get the same dish, and whoever finishes wins. And we're booked into the middle of March now, and it's cool because you get to see maybe restaurants that you haven't seen. You get to see what they have to offer, and you get to see me, make a jackass out of myself as which is always great. And I just love having fun. Me and Billy just have so much fun with it, and we don't only just fill our bellies, but we're promoting local restaurants, and so definitely check that out.
Yeah, that's funny. If you had 24 hours to show a food loving friend the best of this part of the Adirondacks, what would your itinerary look like? Like, where would you start and have breakfast?
Jeez, I mean, I would definitely stick to my roots and have them go see Bruce and Helena at Main Street Ice Cream Parlor in Chestertown. They got such amazing food. We just did a Battle of the Billies there on my birthday this past February 5th, where Billy went down. I took him down. Of course, I had to. I had no choice. So I think that would be, a great start. And then I don't know. I mean, if it's summertime or whatnot, I would go back to my old stopping grounds where I was a chef for about a decade at the Algonquin, and go check out the nice view, and maybe grab the fish point, Rachel Ray's favorite dish. Small fun fact is, when she was there when I was a young chef, it was $40 a day. I got like maybe 2 seconds on the show. You'll see me with a pink headband, bandana. It was so hot. And then for dinner, wow, I don't know. Because there's so many great options, but I mean, I have to go circle back to, chicken parm at the place.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're keeping it local. That's good.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Lizzie Keays being just 3 minutes off the Northway, and most of the restaurants we've discussed are 5 to 10 minutes off the Northway. The Algonquin is just a little bit longer than that. But if our listeners are driving to Lake Placid or Scroon or Saranac, and I don't think a lot of people realize what a great rest stop it is to go in, just jump off and spend an hour having an early dinner or late lunch, because you're in such a rush to get to wherever you think you're going to be going that it really breaks up the trip to take advantage of these little family-owned restaurants and, sit down, relax. It makes the trip go much, much more easily, I believe. At least I used to do that with the kids, and we just could find a spot halfway, and it's so much shorter. That last couple, whether it's another hour and a half, it's not like you've been in the car for 4 or 5 hours. It's something that people don't normally take advantage of because they're so concentrated on getting to the destination, and then when they get there, they're not hungry, or it's too late to order something, and it's like, what are we going to have for dinner? And it's a shame that people aren't able to take as much advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the Northway is one of the most beautiful roads in the U.S., I think, but it sort of hides everything, right? So if you go by exit 23, 24, 25, you think there's nothing there, and there's a ton of stuff just literally minutes off the highway, versus if your destination is Lake Placid, you have quite a ways to go after you get off the Northway. So that's a great point, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, why not, come get some dinner with me, and then, go to Oscar's, get some cheese, some smoked meats or whatever, stop at Jack Tony's, get a sub, and then, go. And then, you got lunch for the next day too, or some, little charcuterie or something like that. And some mad flavor. I mean, geez, what more can you ask for?
I know my cousin Jeff and his wife Crystal were here last summer with their kids, and they went to Jack Tony's twice because the kids were so crazy about the subs. They really are excellent.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick mini lightning round, Billy. Just a couple of quick questions for you.
Sure.
What's one thing that guests do that instantly makes you think, I like this table?
They're smiling.
Awesome.
When I look over and I see, guests that they just got done with a meal here at Lizzie Keays, and, they're smiling, or even when they walk in the door, those are my kind of guests. They're just happy to be here and excited for that experience, and they're grateful for what we have. I mean, I can't even count how many times that people are like, we are so fortunate to have you here, and your staff and your restaurant and what you do. And, it really, like, it hits the heart, because it's like, I consider myself a great chef, and to hear that was the best salmon I ever had in my life, and I've had salmon in 20 different countries, or this and that, like, that really makes me feel good, and makes that all this hard work, all the struggle, all the anxiety of, am I going to make it or not? It just really makes it worth it. And, hopefully, all this will line up to really work out in the end.
What's one ingredient that you have to have or can't live without?
I mean, it's got to be garlic. I mean, it's food without garlic. I mean, garlic is in 99.9% of my dishes. So if you don't like garlic, I'm sorry, guys.
What do you think about prepped foods like already chopped up garlic in the supermarket? Stay away, or it's good to use?
I think it's, if you're not cooking a lot at home, and to buy the fresh garlic and have it set and chop it up, like if you're not like cooking a lot, I think just buy that. Your shelf life is going to be good. Make sure you get the stuff in oil, not water. You're going to have a longer shelf life. But I mean, if you're daily cooking and you're doing it all the time, then get your garlic, chop it up, add some oil to it, and prolong it. Because some people, they're not really good with a knife, and they don't have a RoboCoupe or something like that at home. So, but I, like I said, I mean, I love the fresh. I prefer the fresh. But if you're not cooking a lot, get the garlic and oil.
What's your go-to snack food?
My go-to snack food is watermelon.
Really?
Yeah, I love watermelon. Actually, when I was a kid, I really, really loved watermelon. My grandma would grow them in her garden for me, and I had have these watermelons, and she'd have the watermelons or whatever. We'd had an outside like refrigerator, and one night a black bear decided to go in the fridge and eat my watermelon. And I mean, this is many moons ago, so I mean, she didn't have her iPhone filming it or nothing, but she said it was quite the sight, and I was pretty disappointed.
Aw, can you get good watermelon in the winter, or is that really only in the summer thing?
The summer, it's obviously way better or whatnot, but I track down watermelon. I can find it at Price Chopper, or I can find it at Hannaford, and even at Walmart. Because that's the thing. It's like, I don't like going to big box all the time, but if I want something, I'm going to get it. And actually, watermelon has helped me lose a lot of weight. I think it really refreshes you, adds a lot of refreshness to you. And like ever since I went back to my first time to Bali, and I was eating watermelon over there, like I redeveloped a love for watermelon.
Do you have a junk food that you love?
I've been getting like the Bobo gluten-free, like apple or strawberry. They're like little like cookies almost or whatnot. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but yeah, they do the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches too, but they're gluten-free. It's called Bobos, and I'm trying not to eat as much gluten these days. I'm still young or whatnot, but as I'm getting older, I'm trying to eat a little more healthier and watch my sugar intakes. But I like having those when I travel too, like the peanut butter and jelly cookies, because if you're really hungry, that's going to really fill you up, and you're not getting as much of the junk. You're getting basically all, fresh ingredients.
So, Billy, I've got to ask you this, because last time you were here, you gave us the history of Lizzie Keays, that it was a former shirt factory, and it's named after, I think you said you found a paycheck?
Yeah, the original owners. Yeah.
Yeah, that had a woman's a paycheck when they were doing the rehab of the building. I just got to ask, do you have any sort of paranormal activity going on? Any ghosts running around Lizzie Keays?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. There's definitely some spirits here. They seem to be pretty friendly. But yeah, there's been some weird things going on. Like we've been closed for a couple days and I come in and the TV's on. Or, or yeah, which was kind of crazy because I was there, like we closed on Monday. I came back in on Tuesday and then obviously we're closed. And then I came back Wednesday to check the messages and the TV's on. And I messaged I'm like, is anyone like coming in and watching TV or whatnot? And so that was a no. So that's kind of weird. And then, what you hear some things, there's some creaking, some crackling going on. And, they seem very friendly. So, yeah, I think maybe this spring we're going to try to look more into it or this summer and see because, we want to stay on good terms with these spirits here, and hopefully they're giving us some great mojo.
That's awesome.
Well, they might be winter sports enthusiasts, so they want to watch the Olympics.
Yeah, that could be it.
That could be it. 100%. It's so funny how many people we talked to, we had the Deer's Head Inn on last year, which is one of the oldest institutions in the Adirondacks. They date back to the early 1800s. And the chef then, at the time, told us some stories. And then we had New Vita Preserve, which is a building built in the 50s. And they have stories too. So it's not just the old places that have haunted stuff. So before we wrap up, Billy, tell us again, you told us your social media handles. What's your website? Because people can make reservations on your website, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's www.lizziekeays, LIZZIEKEAYS.com. We're going to be open till the end of February, and we're going to kind of see where we're at there. I was anticipating to try to stay open till maybe around St. Patty's Day max, but if it's looking slower after President's Week, we may pull the plug because it's just, I'm not going to stay open and do, 10 people for a weekend. It's just not worth it. And I'm just fortunate that, we have, unemployment for my staff. And for me, I just got to try to survive and hopefully the spring, summer season and fall season will be, absolutely out of this world.
And can they get your Mad Flavor sauce on your website?
No, not yet. Not yet. But you can always pop in. And we do have several bottles. I'll probably stop bottling here probably next week because we're going to be coming into our off season. But yeah, we got some Be True Mad Flavor sauce. We got the nuts. We got some merch. And, come get a gift card. People love gift cards, especially for their birthday.
I know. It's sometimes at Christmas, it's like all anybody is doing is opening, a card.
Yeah. We sold quite a few around Christmas, and it was great. So we want you to come redeem those and bring some friends. It's really, really important. I can't stress it enough. It's BUY local or BYE local. So just always keep that in mind. You should be supporting your local restaurants, your local shops, and saving a buck here and there. Just it's not worth it. You want a restaurant to survive, go support them because who knows? They may be open today or closed tomorrow.
And when you can, pay in cash.
Yeah, I mean, paying cash is always great. And, if you don't support your local restaurants, I mean, they're not going to be there. I've talked to a lot of business owners in the area, specifically in Warrensburg, Chestertown, and the surrounding areas. And I get it. It was cold. No one wants to come out. But, get takeout. Do something to help these restaurants survive because it's people aren't going to be opening up in the winters because it's just you make money in the summer if you're obviously you hope and then you spend it all winter to stay alive just to be able to accommodate. And one other thing I want to add is just because a restaurant closes for a month or 2 months doesn't make it a year-round establishment is not true. Restaurants close because there's not enough volume. So people need to, you know, think about that. Like, why is a restaurant closing? It's because it's not going to be busy and they're not going to make money. So, you know, just because a restaurant closes for a couple months doesn't mean that, you know, they're not year round, you know, and I hate that when people are like, oh, we're not going to support you because you're not open year round. That's bull crap, you know, and that upsets me.
I hear you. And you know, I think the counterpoint to that is just like you said, if you want a business to be there year round, you need to show up
Yeah.
and support them. So I do everything I can to stay out of my kitchen and support local restaurants. That's not true. Actually, I love to cook, but everybody needs a night off. So I try and do that at least one night a week. Well, Billy, thanks so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to share your insights with our listeners. We look forward to having you back again and hearing about your most recent travels. But before we let you loose into the wild, we're going to hit you with the hidden gem question. We talked about this last time. You gave us actually quite a few things that are your sort of go-to favorite spot in the Adirondacks. It can be a hike, a view, a store, a drive. It doesn't matter. It just can't be Lizzie Keays. But, you know, last time you mentioned Paradise Bay, hiking Pinnacle. We talked about the cottage in Lake Placid and top of the park in Lake Placid. Do you have another hidden gem you can give us?
You know, I want to give a shout out to my boy up in North Creek, Jake G and Izzy's.
Yes.
I think that's a nice hidden gem in North Creek and in the Adirondacks. Jake was my sous chef at the Chateau when I was a chef there. And, you know, I'm excited. I got Battle of the Billies not next week, but the following week up there. So I don't know what we're going to go one-on-one on, but, you know, I love the breakfast burrito, the Cubana. You know, he's got a great little shop up there, and I hope he's busy and thriving. Not in the Adirondacks, but I want to give a shout out to my boy Sean, Chef Sean at Southpaw Bistro in downtown Glens Falls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that new?
Newer, a couple years old. He just opened up Timber and Time up in at the Ski Bowl in North Creek.
Yeah.
But two of my, you know, dear friends they're grinding, they're hustling, and yeah, I'm proud of you boys. Keep doing your thing.
Glens Falls I'm very impressed with the food scene that's going on there. There've been some great restaurants for a while, but there's also some great new places coming up.
Yeah.
So those are great new ads. I haven't been up to the Timber and Time. Have you been there yet?
No, I haven't been up there yet. But yeah, another restaurant I did a collaboration with, Pharmacy.
Yes.
In Glens Falls is always a good spot. They do brunch on Sunday. My buddy Joe is the chef there, or was the chef there. I can't keep track anymore, but it was fun to do a collabo with those guys. And AJ, you know, the owner, he's a great guy. And you know, go support your local restaurants.
That seems to be the theme of today's podcast. So, Billy, thanks again for joining us. It's been a pleasure catching up with you, and can't wait for next time. And maybe we'll do a ghost episode at Lizzie Keays.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
The pleasure's all mine. And yeah, come get some mad flavor.
All right. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it again. And yeah, it was great chatting with you. Shout out to the ADK and the 518. And, you know, we can't wait to see you soon at Lizzie Keays.
Well, that was a lot of fun, Steve.
It sure was. Quite the enthusiastic local entrepreneur he is.
He really is. And he's got great energy, which I appreciate. We didn't really talk about it. We talked about it a lot more on our episode with him back in 2024. But listener, Billy was on Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. I can't tell you which season it was, but if you Google Billy Trudsoe, you can see his performance on there. And it's, those shows, especially Hell's Kitchen, make me kind of nervous because Gordon Ramsay's always yelling at people and I don't like that. But it is kind of, it's a lot of fun to see that. So that's very cool. Well, listener, if you take nothing else from this episode, be kind and smile next time you are dining out. Be clear.
Yeah.
Remember that the Adirondacks are seasonal and your patience matters. And also, please support these local businesses, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a bakery or your farm stand, local farm stand. It's really, if we want to have these things and help them thrive in the Adirondacks, we've got to be customers.
Eat and buy local.
Exactly. Shop local, eat local. And if you like this format and are interested in hearing from other restaurants and want to suggest a name, please drop us an email at info@adktastes.com. And we'd love to take your suggestions. And in fact, we've been really happy with all the different questions we've been getting in. We're going to have to do another reader mailbag soon. But if you also just have a question in general, feel free to shoot it our way. And for more insights and information about the best of the Adirondacks, visit our website, adktastes.com. And again, if you're loving the podcast, please rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or even on YouTube. It makes us more discoverable and helps people who are looking for more insights about the Adirondacks find them. So until then, I think we're going to sign off. Steve, any last words from you?
Nope.
That's my brother. If you've got nothing to say, he says nothing. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
All right. Stay warm out there, listeners, and we'll see you next time on the pod.
Bye-bye.